All right, good evening and welcome to another edition of Our Import here on Metropolitan Television. Our Import is proudly brought to you by the Ghana Revenue Authority, Goil PLC, Serene Insurance, Ghana Link Network Services, and Meridian Port Services MPS. The show is proudly powered by the Ghana Port and Harbors Authority, GPHA. Our media partner on this journey for a lifetime, as usual, is the Business and Financial Times, the BNFT. If you want to have a grasp of all that transpired on the show tonight, make a date and grab the Thursday edition of the BNFT, and you'll be able to see all that happened here on the show tonight. Tonight we shall be getting interactive with you, and so all you have to do is send us your messages and comments via our dedicated WhatsApp line, which is 0559 019 177, 0559 019 177. And when the time is ripe, I pick signals from my production team. We shall activate the phone lines for you to call in and contribute to the show. Indeed, we are streaming live on our social media pages. On Facebook, we are streaming live at Ghana Port and Harbors Authority. Ghana Port and Harbors Authority. Still on Facebook, we are live at Port of Tema, and on YouTube, we are streaming live at Eye on Port. My name is Kennedy Mona. We're going for a quick break. When we return, we'll continue the show. Please stay with us.
Every now and again, Goil makes good things happen. This time, Goil has introduced Super XP Ron 95, a higher grade fuel loaded with additives and yet sold at the same price as normal fuel. Goil Super XP Ron 95 enhances engine performance like never before. It maintains the engine by keeping it clean from carbon deposits. Goil Super XP Ron 95 is designed to burn slowly and thus improves fuel economy, making you save money after several kilometers. Goil Super XP Ron 95 gives you a smooth driving experience, that is, less vibrations. Fill up with Goil Super XP Ron 95. Now there's no need to pay more for any higher grade fuel. Goil has that sorted. Goil, good energy.
Electricity, then pay your taxes. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Impressive factory. If only I had listened to you, I wouldn't have been in this mess. That devastating fire virtually wiped out the whole factory and my warehouse.
Remember my misfortunes last year? Serene Insurance Asset All Risk Fire policy that I took were there to pay for my damaged stocks in the warehouse, and my machines that were affected by the flood have been replaced. My accident vehicle is back on the road thanks to Serene Insurance motor policy. Currently, my goods are on the high seas covered with their marine cargo insurance policy. I was just telling Ajima about Serene Insurance.
Oh, Ajima,
tell him more.
As a road contractor, I make sure I do my contractors all risk insurance for the projects and then workers' compensation for all the workers on site. With Serene Insurance, they will make sure they will cover your unknown tomorrow today.
Serene Insurance, a new face of insurance. Call us now.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
All right, so you're welcome back. We're now going to take a look at happenings in the port and shipping industry in the course of the week by way of local stories.
Ghana's leading oil marketing company, Goil, has continued on its drive to modernize its service stations across the country. The company has reopened the Community One service station in Tema, which underwent refurbishment in recent months. The company is therefore entreating customers to visit the station for quality fuels and products.
We've refurbished this beautiful station right here in the center of Tema, that is Community One. We're doing this to tell our customers that we appreciate them and we want the best things for them. We are assuring them of good customer service as we've opened the station. So we're calling on the trotro, the taxi, the private cars to all come on board because we've opened the station and we are assuring them of top-notch service. We're telling them that when they come to Community One station, they will be warmly received. They're going to get good products, of course, from Goil, the right quantity and at the right quality. They will meet friendly attendants here to serve them. We have a lube bay, which is also going to be operational soon, so drivers can also come here and have their servicing. Yes, we have the Go Cafe. The Go Cafe is opening soon. We are showing them that they're also going to get the basic things they need as they come to the station. We have our lubricants and other stuff that they can get from the shop.
And Goil is a brand that everyone in Ghana should be associated with. First of all, it's our own company. Another reason you should be with Goil is that we are selling RON 95, which is a premium product, but we are giving it to you at the price of the normal super.
The International Maritime Organization encourages the promotion of a common approach to investigating marine casualty and incidents. The IMO is also keen on promoting cooperation between states in identifying the factors that contribute to marine casualties. To this end, a 2-week national workshop that builds on best practices in marine casualty and marine incident investigation is ongoing in Accra. Organized by the Ghana Maritime Authority, the workshop seeks to enhance the capacities of personnel to carry out investigations into marine casualties and incidents in accordance with the IMO Casualty Investigation Code. According to the IMO Regional Coordinator for West and Central Africa, Captain Dallas Lai, although the IMO recognizes the complexities associated with aligning procedures, it is important and timely to establish a robust mandatory framework for the conduct of investigations.
Just last year, in July 2022, the IMO Secretary General, Mr. Kitaklim, mentioned how in 2021, the Secretariat has undertook several initiatives to enhance the reporting rates of maritime safety investigations. He felt that a more advanced data analysis of casualty and incident data is the next milestone which could hugely benefit in identifying trends and development of risk-based recommendations to better inform IMO's regulatory work and policy development.
The Deputy Director General in charge of Finance and Administration at the Ghana Maritime Authority, Yao Akosa Inchi, enumerated some of the works done in Ghana in the area of marine casualty investigation.
The authority, in its frantic efforts towards casualty investigations, has collaborated with the Navy to set up various committees to investigate various incidents that have unfortunately occurred over the years. Chief amongst them include the MV Madamfo, MV Comforter 2, and other unfortunate incidents on our lakes and inland waters. In all these incidents, the authority is proud to say that a committee of experts that were set up took pains to identify the remote causes before, towards, during the incident, and not just the immediate causes. These investigations have provided the authority with informed facts and figures which have been shared with the IMO via the Global Integrated Shipping Information System and will form a basis of this training.
All right, so those were happenings in the port and shipping industry in the course of the week. We are now going to take some international port and shipping news.
Chinese shipbuilder Hudong Zhonghua Shipbuilding has delivered the giant 24,116 TEU container ship MSC Tessa to its owner Mediterranean Shipping Company. The massive vessel was independently designed by Hudong Zhonghua, and it belongs to the category of the world's largest container ships based on its capacity. The shipyard said that the vessel is actually the largest vessel delivered so far, breaking the record of Ever a Lot, which was handed over in June last year. The giant box ship was ordered for MSC in 2020 as part of a 4-vessel deal worth an estimated $600 million. It comes equipped with a hybrid scrubber, small bubbles bow, large diameter propellers, and energy-saving ducts. The 400-meter-long ship has a deck area close to 4 standard football fields and can carry more than 240,000 tons of cargo at a time. Hudong Zhonghua Shipbuilding said that the second ship from the series has completed sea trials and that the third and fourth container ships are also under construction. The shipbuilder expects all 3 vessels to be delivered before August. A new milestone in the construction of the Icon of the Seas, Royal Caribbean International's first LNG-powered cruise vessel, has been achieved with the start of the first multi-fuel engine at the Meyer Turku shipyard. Said to be the world's most advanced and largest ship with environmentally friendly features, Icon of the Seas has 6 Wärtsilä main engines that can use both diesel and natural gas fuel. The Finnish shipbuilder started construction on the Icon of the Seas in June 2021 and installed an LNG fuel tank in November 2021. The ship was launched on 9th December 2022 and moved to the outfitting dock. Icon of the Seas is Royal Caribbean's first ship that runs on LNG and utilizes fuel cell technology.
All right, so those were happenings in the port and shipping industry on the global stage. It's now time for us to take the word of the day. And remember, the word of the day is brought to you so that we can bring you up to speed with the jargons and terms we use in the shipping industry. Today's word is ULCV, that's Ultra Large Container Vessel.
An ultra-large container vessel is a container ship of typically 15,000 to 24,500 TEU capacity.
All right, so welcome back. We are now zooming into our discussion proper tonight, and tonight our discussions are in twofold. One, we take a look at the operationalization of a new Harbour craft jetty at Terminal 3 of the Maritime Port Services, that's MPS terminal in Tema. And then we will also be taking a look at the 5% import levy, which is hampering the importation of agro products into the country. And so we'll start with the MPS, story, where they recently, began to operationalize Harbour craft jetty, to enhance turnaround time at Meridian Port Services, that's the Terminal 3 in the port of Tema. And so with us in the studios tonight to throw more light on this particular issue is Mr. Emmanuel Ohene-Addo, who is Operations Manager. Emmanuel Ohene-Addo, Operations Manager, Meridian Port Services, MPS. Good evening, sir, and welcome to Iron Port.
Good evening.
Is this your first time here?
Yeah, first time here, yeah.
I see. Welcome to the family. And
okay.
I think a Happy New Year is in order. We're glad to have you. So first of all, we want you to tell us some of the things that you are doing as Terminal 3 to enhance your operations and to ensure that you deliver world-class services that you are currently offering to your clients.
Yeah, so MPS from the onset has been committed to continuous improvement based to achieve the objective of being a first-class terminal. Mm. And we are fortunate to have a leverage of network of ports that are owned by shareholders, where we learn and implement best practices similar to what happens in other world leading ports. Mm. And being a first-class terminal definitely goes with providing the best of services.
Yeah.
And fortunately for us, we've been able to get the support of our stakeholders and partners during our monthly stakeholder engagements, where they normally share with us, give us some suggestions and sometimes even positive criticisms on how best we can help in terms of facilitate trade and also to improve on our services. Internally too, we are actually also being able to train our staff so that we can meet the expectations of our customers. We are where we are today because of also the tremendous support that we get from our shareholders in terms of continuous investing in our technology and infrastructure and superstructure. So if you can see MPS now, we facilitate transit trade, we facilitate import trade, and we facilitate export trade, which is, I think, is good for the economy of Ghana. Yeah.
Okay, so can you tell us, bring us back to, let's go back to basics and tell us what a Harbour craft jetty is.
Yeah,
Can you explain that? Yes.
Yeah, let me just give you a little background.
How that works, yeah.
A background to this jetty at Terminal 3. We were looking at benchmarking our performance in terms of vessel stay, the port stay of vessels with leading container terminals.
Right.
And we realized that we were quite behind. So definitely, once we are quite behind in the area of idle time of arrival and idle time at departure. If you talk about idle time of arrival, we are referring to the time that the time that the vessel the vessel come on board and the start of operations.
Yes.
And if you talk about departure, we talk about when we load the last container and also until the vessel actually sails. And as I said, we realized that we were a little bit quite behind compared to other terminals.
Yes.
So we actually had to, there was something that we were supposed to do about it. So somewhere at the beginning of last year, we had to engage the harbor master, the port health, the customs, and the shipping lines.
Yes.
To be able to review our pre-arrival procedures and the post-completion procedures to see how best we could eliminate some waste in the processes so that we can able to reduce our idle time, similar to what happens with these world-class terminals. And so after the end of 2022, we reviewed the process and we realized that we've actually made some gains. In terms of idle time of arrival, we used to be hovering around 119 minutes, close to 2 hours. But we've been able to reduce it to 54 minutes.
Wow.
A reduction
from 100 and something.
119 minutes to 54 minutes.
That's
about 55% decrease. And also, when you look at the idle time at departure, we've also reduced from 195 minutes to 154, a decrease of 21 minutes. But we still found that with these gains, we are still behind the world-class terminals, where the target is 30 minutes idle time of arrival and 30 minutes idle time at departure.
Right.
But we realized that, so we also sat down again and realized that one of the actions that we could take was because, you know, the tugboats, the current tugboats and pilots are stationed in Terminal 1, which is on average about 30 minutes drive time to Terminal 3.
Okay.
So it would be best if we bring them closer to Terminal 3, the beds at Terminal 3.
Right.
So fortunately for us, we had a platform about just 100 meters to the bed of Terminal 3, where we used it during the project stage. We used it to transport our casings for the construction of the quay wall.
Right.
So what happened is that we contacted once again the harbor master and his team, and together with our team, they redesigned the place and to make sure that we have into a jetty.
Right.
Whereby now we can have the pilots closer, and we also have the tugboats that is used in pulling and sailing vessels. We also have them closer at berth. And this is what gave birth to the jetty at Terminal 3. Yeah.
How long did it take you to get it started and completed?
Yeah. As I told you, we actually started this the jetty operations only this 1st of March 2023.
Right.
Yeah, and we have actually is currently in operations, and we are even moving a step as usual, and in our focus on continuous improvement too. Now we have actually contracting for the construction of another marine building That will help in terms of, it will bring more facilities for those working on the jetty and also for our operational team.
So what are some of the things you are looking to achieve with this new Harbourcraft jetty? What impact do you expect it to make, apart from ensuring quick turnaround time? You gave us a breakdown of the studies you've done, which resulted, the first one in 55%, and then the other in... What impact are you expected to...
we actually, we met again some few weeks ago with the whole stakeholder, the team, the Harbour Master and the team, the Port Health, and we actually decided to give ourselves a target that by the end of June, for the idle time for departure, as I said, currently we are about 154 minutes. We want to bring it down to 90 minutes by June, because once we have the jetty closed, we think we can shave a lot of time on it. So if we are targeting to bring it 90, and in June we'll meet again and also then see how we can also bring it down by the end of the year to 60 minutes. To our dream 60 minutes, similar to what happens in the world-class terminal.
Yes.
And the same thing for the arrival to, as I said, we are currently 54 minutes. We want to bring it down to 40 minutes by June, then 30 minutes by the end of the year. And I know that we've actually, together, when we're supposed to work together, as we have done previously, the last year, we've been able to achieve a lot.
Yes.
So when we continue with this thing, we'll be able to meet this target. These are targets that is not something that we cannot meet. We will definitely be able to meet. And the second thing is that now we will also have the pilots and the tag masters and all those things closer. So it will help in terms of communication, in terms of speed up all the processes. And we think it will gain on it. And also the last one is that now, we would, the GPHA will not be able to burn fuel from traveling from Terminal 1 to Terminal 3 and vice versa. It will save them a lot of fuel, which I think it also help the situation.
Absolutely. All right. So let's take a look at what you've mentioned, world-class terminals on several occasions during your submissions. I just want, which are the names that really come to mind when you talk about the world-class terminal that you are looking at? For which reason you have, decided to operationalize this particular
as I said in the beginning, we have, luckily our shareholders, there's a network. We have about almost 66 or more terminals from one of our shareholders, and we also have another, I think, close to about 30 from the others. So, and these are terminals which are cut across the global and we have a lot of rankings in terms of KPIs that these top terminals have. So this is what we normally, periodically, we get these reports, and so we look at where we are, and looking at the infrastructure that we have, we want to be part of that league, that top league. So that's why we are always trying as much as possible to at least try and get closer to that. We are working towards that.
All right. So can you give us a fair idea as to how you have performed for the first quarter? We are still in March, though.
Yeah, if you look at our various KPIs and this, we have quite several KPIs that we normally we work towards. But our key for us, the important ones is the one that concerns the customer, which is like the vessel productivity and vessel productivity and for the yard we have the track turnaround time that we need to do a lot of work on it.
Yes,
I would like to take this opportunity to show appreciation to our management team led by our CEO, Mohammed Samara, and the staff, both permanent and outsourced, for the role that they played in achieving the targets for last year, most of the targets for last year. And also, at least for the first 2 months, we realize that we are on course. But I just want to share with you what we actually do at MPS.
Right.
Yeah, what we do is that we normally engage the staff. We normally engage the staff in setting the targets, whereby we explain to them the reason why we are setting the targets and why we have to achieve the targets and their role they are supposed to play. So what we normally do is that we just bring them together and we definitely agree on the various targets that we have. Secondly, we also then look at what we call the lead measures or the actions that we need to take to be able to achieve those targets. And sometimes we give them the room and they list a lot. The staff themselves list a lot. Maybe you can have 10, but normally we bring it down to about 2 or 3 most critical ones.
Yes.
So that then we focus and make sure that we are able to work with those actions to achieve the targets. And the next thing that I think which is very important, which I also encourage most companies to follow, is that when we start with these actions, we need a scoreboard. What we call a scoreboard. Because to know whether we are either winning or losing. And we have a live dashboard or live scoreboard, which is color-coded, red, yellow, green, which normally is at various locations. So it's not only the management who normally see whether we are doing well or not. We always have the staff walking around, anybody walking at any point in time. Once you see the red sign, you realize that there's something not going wrong with a particular vessel or it's something going wrong in the yard. So then we have to take the required actions to correct it. If it's yellow, we see, oh, fine. If we are almost there, we have to do a little bit to push here. And if it's green, we should make sure that we're able to sustain it. So we normally look at all those things. So these scoreboards, and also apart from that, we also give regular feedbacks to the staff in terms of this, what we are achieving, whether we are winning or losing. Through sometimes WhatsApp platform, where most of the shifts have their WhatsApp platform, they share daily productivity figures and also weekly figures. We also have one-on-one engagement. Some of them call it People Connect and those things to just make sure we are always updating the staff on how far we are. And the last one which I want to mention is what we call accountability. Because to achieve these targets, we definitely need everybody on board. We don't want to have maybe some people just doing the work to achieve those targets whilst others are sleeping. So we actually try to identify all those who are not giving out their best, and we take the required measures to bring them on board. And when we finish all these things, at the end of the day, as I said, whether quarterly or this thing, we have our quarterly awards to recognize those who are doing well and those who also need support to training and those things. And so it's a very good process that we are doing, and we monitor these things from day to day, so that at the end of the year, we don't sit down at the end of the year to see that we've not achieved. So at any point in time, we know where we are in our journey in achieving our targets.
Awesome. All right. So can you tell us the capacity of this particular new Harbourcraft jetty?
The capacity it can handle. It can take the two tugboats, the big ones. I think the 80-ton, the ones. It can handle two of them. And also, it has the capacity, at least it has which I think is okay to handle any vessel.
What are the sizes of these tugboats?
The tugboats,
the weight, like they can pull.
The weight, as I said, is I think if I'm not wrong, it's around 80 tons or something. That's. But I may have to confirm this figure. Yeah, each. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. So let's take a look at what MPS is doing in terms of green shipping. You mentioned world-class terminals, and most of the world-class terminals these days are, focused on going green in terms of shipping. Is there anything you are doing as?
Yeah, it's quite interesting because this discussion I know is going on how best we can make good use of other renewable energy and in terms of efficiency in fuel and this thing. Yeah, but the good thing is that for MPS, we have most of our equipment run on the ECG. That's electricity. Our STS is powered by ECG. We have E-RTGs. They're not run on diesel. And we are also looking at even our operational vehicles. We want to make the operational vehicles. We want to start using electric vehicles for our operations. I think we tested some few weeks ago. And I'm sure by the end of the year we may have one or two in our fleet. In the medium term, we are also looking at even the terminal trucks. We are looking at having terminal trucks powered by electricity. So that we will be using enchanting containers within the terminal. So these are some of the things that we are actually looking at, and to also in terms of this green.
All right, this is Iron Port here on Metropolitan Television, and we are having our first topic. Like I said in my intro, we are having a twofold discussion today. And today we're taking a look at the operationalization of a Harbourcraft jetty at MPS Terminal 3, and we're also taking a look at the impact of the 5% total import levy on the supplies of agro-inputs in our country. And so Mr. Emmanuel Adu is the operations manager at Meridian Port Services MPS, and he's the one we're having our first leg discussion with this evening. Let's go digital now. I just wanted to tell us about the digital infrastructure that you have deployed at MPS Terminal 3 and how that is helping you attain your goals.
Our digital footprint is quite interesting, and it supports the ease of doing business. If you can look at most of our terminal is fully digitized. We have the vessel operations, yard operations, delivery process, the payment process. It's all digitized. But let me just try and, I think I've said a lot about the vessel side. Let me try and at least illustrate what we've actually done with the delivery process. At the comfort of the freight forwarders, starting from the freight forwarders, at the comfort of their homes or their offices or anywhere that they are, they have access to raise an invoice and do payment electronically. And on the same platform, that's the MPS e-payment platform. Then after that, they have to book an appointment. Booking an appointment, because every truck that has to come to MPS has to actually have an appointment.
Right.
And on the same platform, they book appointment by linking the container that they want to pick. They link a registered truck on the platform, and also a registered driver. And they also now decide on when or the time, the appointment that they want to actually let the truck in to pick the container.
Right.
So after that, the truck then moves to the gate, and the truck is actually identified by a RFID reader.
RFID, what does that mean?
I normally explain the RFID similar to what we have on the motorway, those who have pre-made ones, yeah, so that once you recognize the truck, the boom's open, and for you to enter.
Right.
Yeah, so, and then the drivers too are also verified by their biometric details, that is their fingerprints.
Okay.
After that, then that's when the boom is open and they are allowed to enter the port.
Yes.
But before they get to the terminal, they go to if they are come to pick containers, they go to what we call an optical character recognition, where it takes pictures of the container and the truck. It helps in what we call audit trail, or it helps also in investigations, doing damages or anything that a theft or any other thing that happens.
Yes.
So after these drivers have to drive, the truck have to drive through, and these pictures are taken. Then later it moves to what we call a pre-gate. A pre-gate is just, it's like a traffic light with red and yellow.
Yeah.
Whereby when you get there and it's green, that means you've actually gone through the initial process, the port in-gate process. You've gone through, if possible, if it's export, you've gone through the scanner. If it's for import, you've gone to the OCR and you successfully.
Right.
If it's green, it opens, then it shows you green, then the boom opens, then that means you are ready to enter the terminal.
Right.
Once you get to the terminal, you get the terminal in-gate, there's an automated ticket that is generated. So they're telling the driver which location in the yard he's supposed to pick this container. That's for import, and if it's for export, which container, where he's supposed to drop that export box.
Yes.
So he picks it, then he moves to the yard. In the same time, the information also goes to the yard equipment, telling them, giving them instruction on what container they are supposed to load on the truck, if it's for delivery, and also if it's export, with how to drop out the container. After that, these trucks then just go to another OCR outgate and then exit the port.
Yes.
You see from what I've said that it's a very seamless flow with no human interaction or intervention.
Yeah.
And actually, based on this, we've actually gotten some very positive results. Because for example, export, it takes an average of 15 minutes from terminal in to terminal out.
Okay.
And for import, maximum 15 minutes. A truck comes in, we load it, and also goes to the terminal out or to the common user area.
Right.
And these are some of the benefits that I think, and I think these benefits cuts across even the vessel distance. But as I said, these are some of the benefits that I encourage all our colleagues, companies, to try and go for, because it helps in ease of doing business and tends to speed up issues, and I think it's very effective for their success.
Okay, I was just figuring out the RFID, and it's radio frequency identification.
Yeah, radio frequency.
I just checked it out. Okay. All right, so let's take a look at your meeting your target, productivity targets for the year 2021. Are there any early indicators, and are you sure you're on target?
I think as I explained earlier, we are actually based on the actions that we've taken in terms
Yes.
of this, and we are actually on target, and we are monitoring it very well. And we can see quite a number of greens in it. Although it's not, we still have some few ones that we still have to work on.
Okay.
So, but in terms of productivity, we've seen quite good improvement on it. We are also monitoring, as I said, that one of the key things that we want to push is this idle time of arrival and departure to be able to make us very attractive and make sure we are able to help the shipping lines at least turn around their vessels on time. Yeah. So I think we are on track. We are on track. We are on track.
All right. So going forward, looking into the future, are there any plans or development at Terminal 3?
Yeah, I think we have, I can mention about 3. The first one is human capital development. You know, we need to improve on the human capacity.
Right.
And so virtually all the staff are going to a training called a lean program.
Yes.
And in the lean program, there's what we call problem-solving skills.
Okay.
And we actually want to change the culture of the staff, because sometimes you always have the staff coming, identifying problems and coming to the manager and come and dump the problem on the manager or drop on the desk on the manager, expecting the manager to find the solution to it. We actually want to change that concept.
Want to encourage them to also be problem solvers.
Yeah, so we want to encourage them to. So what we are now doing is that now when you identify a problem, you have to get some 1 or 2, 3, 4 colleagues, put yourself in a team, and try and determine whether the problem is actually a problem by doing what we refer to as Gemba. That means you are going on the field yourself to just ask questions to see whether it's actually a problem.
Gemba,
yeah.
Okay.
So once we determine the problem, then you have to find out the root cause by what we sometimes refer to as the 5 why. How to ask the various whys until you get down to the root cause.
Why won't you share with us what the Gemba is?
Gemba
that should be GEM.
In terms of but it's just it's a Chinese. It's about just moving to the site.
Okay.
Then moving to the site to see for yourself, to verify
what
yourself.
the issue is. Okay.
What the issue is.
Okay.
That's what we refer to as Gemba.
Okay.
You walk to the site. You don't sit in the office and you work to where the problem is, and sometimes take about a day, 2 days, week to observe what actually happens, interact with the people on the ground, then for you to actually see what exactly the problem is. Yes. Yeah. So after doing that, as I said, then based on that, after determining the problem and getting the root cause, now you also have to recommend what we call solutions or countermeasures. And this is something that you always have to then also do. Recommend and also see to the implementation and sustainability. Because we leave it at the team, but we have some coaches around who are helping them using the tools that we've actually learned in terms of going through the procedure.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, then we see if the project actually is very successful and achieving some results, we also recognize them. But I can say that since we started somewhere last year, we are getting some good results. And I believe when we're able to this year, next year, if we continue this process, I think we'll be able to have a terminal where we'll resolve most of the problems, which will definitely be to the benefit of our customers.
Awesome. All right. So we're just about wrapping up, but I wanted to tell us some of the socio-environmental sustainability initiatives that MPS has rolled out. I know about the turtle hatchery and the rest. Can you bring us up to speed with how far you've come with them and how they are impacting your operations, as a terminal?
Yeah, I think you mentioned the first one, which is the turtle hatchery, which MPS is into it. And we know the importance of the turtles because from the little understanding I know, they form sometimes as an umbrella to protect the fish from predators. And I think I'll just encourage everyone to visit our project site, our turtle site in Pram. Because honestly, when you go there, it's quite interesting how you see how the eggs are buried. You see how the hatchlings are moved, are moved to the sea and those things. So you can see, I think, as of last Friday, we've actually moved about 35,870 hatchlings have been moved to the, have been sent to the sea. And that experience is quite a good one. And I don't want to say much, but I will just say that anyone who is interested can visit our site and and there's to see for himself. It's a nice thing that is going on there.
Okay.
Yeah. Then the second one too is that somewhere last year, late last year, we actually presented about 6 million Ghana cedi worth of fishing gears, comprising outboard motors and nets.
Yes.
To the fishing community in the Tema environs to boost their economy.
Okay.
We are not only leaving it there. We are also started a process of training the youth in the community in other alternative professions.
Right.
Like, and we are still considering the programs, some like welding, fabrication, and food preservation, and etc. And these are some of the things that we are also doing. And we hope that maybe somewhere this year, this thing will actually be done.
Okay. All right. There's a message that has come through. It says, good evening. Honestly, I'm proud to see my boss on today's show. Indeed, our goals can only be reached through a vehicle of a plan in which we must vigorously act. There is no other route to success. Exactly what my boss is doing. The best is getting better. This one is from Isaac Apia, RTG operator, MPS. I think he's watching us. Isaac, we're grateful to you for your message.
Isaac, yeah.
Your boss has said you. So, in wrapping up, just like some 30 seconds, tell us what your clients should be expecting and your stakeholders should be expecting from you as you strive to, enhance and improve your operations at MPS Terminal 3 in the port of Tema.
Also, what we want to actually do is that as I said, we are striving to be a hub in the West, in West Africa,
right? So
that we go to support this African continental free trade,
and
also be the first port of call in Tema, first port of call, and also create some connectivity for feeder vessels to other parts of Africa.
Right.
This is our vision of what we want to actually do. And you can see that we've actually have a platform where we've actually created a lot of connectivity. It's not only that, you can see that now the shipping lines have connected to us, and I believe they are actually striving.
Yes.
We have the importers have also connected, they are striving. We have the exporters have connected, they are striving.
Right.
As our motto says, we connect, we strive.
Yeah.
The most important one that when I every day in doing operation, I see that which I get the feedback from the drivers is that the way we have actually done now, they are able to do more moves.
Right.
Because the truck drivers now, they can do many moves than what they used previously.
Right.
And so that's one thing when I see, I become very happy.
Absolutely.
But before I end, I would like to take this opportunity to say a big thank you to our shareholders, our landlords, that's GPHA,
right.
For the freight, the other authorities, FDA, GSA, customs, our shipping lines. We want to, on the support that they've actually given us in MPS,
yes.
I will encourage that they continue to give us that support. And I know together, when we work together, we'll be able to boost the economy of Ghana and make Ghana a better place for all of us. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Mr. Emmanuel Ohinado is the operations manager at Meridian Port Services, MPS, Terminal 3 in the port of Tema, bringing us up to speed with the operationalization of a new harbour, craft jetty that's currently being operated by Terminal 3 and MPS. We're grateful to you for coming, sir, and we hope that as and when we extend an invitation, you'd oblige us.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, and have a super week ahead. We're going for a quick break. Viewers, when we return, we'll jump into our second discussion. Please do stay with us.
Every now and again, Goil makes good things happen. This time, Goil has introduced Super XP Ron 95, a higher grade fuel loaded with additives and yet sold at the same price as normal fuel. Goil Super XP Ron 95 enhances engine performance like never before. It maintains the engine by keeping it clean from carbon deposits. Goil Super XP Ron 95 is designed to burn slowly and thus improves fuel economy, making you save money after several kilometers. Goil Super XP Run 95 gives you a smooth driving experience that is less vibrations. Fill up with Goil Super XP Run 95. Now there's no need to pay more for any higher grade fuel. Goil has that sorted. Goil, good energy.
Electricity, then pay your taxes. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Impressive factory. If only I had listened to you, I wouldn't have been in this mess. That devastating fire virtually wiped out the whole factory and my warehouse.
Remember my misfortunes last year? Serene Insurance Asset All Risk Fire policy that I took were there to pay for my damaged stocks in the warehouse. And my machines that were affected by the floods have been replaced. My accident vehicle is back on the road thanks to Serene Insurance motor policy. Suddenly my goods are on the high seas covered with their marine cargo insurance policy. I was just telling Ajima about Serene Insurance.
Oh, Ajima,
tell him more.
As a road contractor, I make sure I do my contractors all risk insurance for the projects and then workers' compensation for all the workers on site. With Serene Insurance, they will make sure they will cover your unknown tomorrow today.
Serene Insurance, a new face of insurance. Call us now.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
All right, so you're welcome back. We are zooming into our second discussion for tonight, and like I said in my intro, we're taking a look at the impact of the 5% total import levy on the supplies of agro inputs in our country. And this topic has come about as a result of some complaints by the Ghana Chamber of Agribusiness and then CropLife Ghana, with respect to some containers that are stuck, in the port and are not able to come because they're finding it difficult to bring them out as a result of this particular import levy. And so we have in the studios tonight Mr. Rashad Kadiri, who is the programs manager at CropLife Ghana. We're also supposed to have the CEO of the Chamber of Agribusiness Ghana, Morrison Anthony, in the studios, but I think an emergency cropped up last minute, and so it's hard to, add his bedding to that of Rashad, who is in the studios with us. Let me say a very good evening to you, Rashad, and welcome to Iron Port.
Thank you very much.
Your first time as also?
Yes.
Happy New Year.
Thank you very much. Happy many returns.
Yes.
Happy New Year, but we are not really smiling as an industry.
I know.
Yeah.
For every reason you are here.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Sure.
So first of all, before we go into the crux of the matter, why you are here, tell us about CropLife Ghana. What exactly do you do?
So basically, CropLife is an organization, membership-driven, and then our members are basically into the manufacture, importation, and distribution of crop protection products such as pesticides and fertilizers and other agri-inputs.
Right.
Yes. And we're also affiliated to CropLife Africa, Middle East, and then CropLife International. So when you hear CropLife, then you are talking about pesticides, fertilizers, and to some extent seeds, and then other agri-inputs such as agricultural machineries.
All right. So you made a statement. You said you are not you're not happy.
Yes.
As an industry, tell us what your issues are.
Yeah. So basically,
before you do, let me. My production team has advised that I activate the phone lines now, and so the number to dial is on your screen: 02055285353. You can call in and contribute to the discussion. Yes, Rashad.
Thank you, Mona. As I mentioned, we are not laughing as an industry because most of our member companies have their goods locked up at the ports due to the high charges that are coming up. Hitherto, last year, the president assented his signature on the Tax Exemptions Act, 2022 Act 1083. And that Tax Exemptions Act was supposed to regulate Ghana's tax exemption regime. And I mean, it was a laudable idea because it was supposed to streamline tax exemptions so that those leakages will be blocked. But interestingly, agri-inputs were not captured in any form in the Tax Exemptions Act.
Right.
Considering the importance agriculture plays in the economic development of Ghana, one would have expected that agri-inputs would have been a major must in the Tax Exemptions Act.
Yes.
But fortunately, the same act makes up for agri-inputs such that it gives the Ministry of Finance the prerogative to work with various sector ministries so that those sector ministries would put into writings requesting for special tax exemptions for their ministries.
Right.
And then this will be granted at the ports for them to be cleared. It came as good news, and then on the 10th of January this year, the Minister of Agriculture, the former Minister of Agriculture, Koto, put in writing and then requested for special tax exemptions to be granted to agri-inputs. And this list includes pesticides, fertilizers, seeds, livestock equipment, all manner of agricultural inputs.
Right.
Requesting for these exemptions to be granted as way back as 10th January this year. And as we speak now, these exemptions hasn't been granted.
When did he do that? When did he?
10th January 2023,
okay.
yes.
Okay, 2023, okay.
So, and as we speak now, 3 months plus, these exemptions are not granted. And the thing about this is that whilst these goods are stuck at the ports, they are attracting high interest, cost, demurrages, yes, and other costs at the port. And this, if it is not swiftly acted upon, some of our member companies, I mean, they can't simply bear the cost anymore and have gone ahead to clear some of the goods at higher cost.
Yes.
I'll give you an example. Last year, one of our companies cleared 15 containers of pesticides. And the total tax amount was about 64,000 that he paid.
Right.
This year, without the tax exemptions, he's not even importing 15, he's importing 10 containers. And he's paying close to 442,000 Ghana cedis. That's huge.
It is.
That is huge. And for me, talking about food security is going to be affected.
Yeah.
Last year, I take you back to last year because that is the base year. When we started off the year, January, February, a bottle of pesticide, for instance, started off the market with about 20 Ghana cedis. And even with the tax exemptions, before we closed the year, that same bottle of pesticide hit close to 60 Ghana cedis.
Right.
Partly due to the currency fluctuation, as we all were aware, yes. So even with exemptions, look at the trend of prices for last year, from 20 cedis to 60 Ghana cedis. Now, if our companies are going to clear these same products at very high cost, what is going to happen to the cost of inputs? At worst, if government doesn't hear our plea, our companies will have no option than to pass on the cost to the ordinary farmer. And when it goes to the ordinary farmer, how many of them can purchase these inputs? So that is why I said we are not laughing. It is a call we are making on government to, as a matter of agency, the Ministry of Finance, to grant those tax exemptions to agri-inputs, considering the fact that agriculture plays a very vital role in the economic development of Ghana.
All right, so as it stands now, it means the directive of the former Minister for Agric was to the Ministry of Finance to
grant
the
exemption.
tax exemptions.
Yes.
And since they did that, you said on the 10th of January, have you made any follow-ups to ensure that
we've actually made follow-ups. And hitherto, it was the same process where the ministry will have to write to the Ministry of Finance to grant those tax exemptions. And usually it will take less than 2 weeks for these exemptions to be granted so that it doesn't attract those demurrages and other costs at the ports. Now we've made follow-ups. We've even gone as far as writing petitions to the Speaker of Parliament. We've met with the chairperson of the Parliamentary Select Committee on Agriculture to drive home our plea. And we are still not getting any results. And for me, for a government that prides itself on the backbone of agriculture, they should be doing better.
No, so when you met them, you haven't told us what the outcomes of these meetings.
Yes. So basically, where we've gotten to a point where we are all waiting for a substantive agric minister to now be approved. He's gone through the vetting processes, and then we are now all waiting for him to be approved. Then he will be the focal person to drive home our demands. So that is where we are now.
I thought your attention would have been with the Ministry of Finance, because the former Minister for Agric has already written to the Ministry for Finance.
Yes.
Minister of Finance.
Yes.
And it means the document is there, and
Exactly.
so you would have to follow up with the Ministry of Finance and ensure that this particular thing is activated, and then
Exactly. So we followed up as well. As I said, we've written petitions to the Ministry of Finance as well for a hearing for them to push for the exemptions to be given. But as it is now, we've still not had any results.
So what's the next line of action with respect to this particular tax exemption that you are waiting?
Yes, so
and are the indicators? Are there indications that if these tax exemptions do not come, the goods are still going to remain there, stuck in the ports, or you think that your members might want to go and then clear them, at that high cost that you are saying?
Yes.
In order just that they beat the demurrage and they don't pay demurrage and avoid all additional costs.
As I mentioned, they've already incurred a lot of cost bringing in these products to the shores of Ghana. And it's not easy bringing in even one container of an agric input. The cost involved alone is something else.
Yeah.
So they can't also just sit down, fold their arms, and wait till whilst the products are still attracting more demurrages. So some of them, as I mentioned, are going ahead to clear. And in the worst case scenario, what they can do is to pass on the prices to the ordinary farmer.
Yeah.
And then we are going to have serious food security implications in this country.
Okay. All right. Let's go on to the phone line. So I understand we have Steve who is calling us from the Eastern region. Good evening, sir. Hello, Steve. Good evening. Hello. Well, I think his line is off. So yes.
Yeah, and then the last 2 years, CropLife, together with some state organizations like EPA and then the PPRSD of MOFA, one of the challenges of the pesticide and fertilizer industry was the proliferation of counterfeit and other illegal pesticides in the system.
Right.
Where farmers do not even have an idea about what is original and then what is fake. So we did a lot of work and sensitizations in those areas, just so farmers can have access to quality and accessible pesticides and fertilizers and other inputs. Now, if this phenomenon should continue, it's going to nullify all the efforts that we've made in the past to clamp down the sales and distribution of counterfeit and illegal pesticides in the system. Because if the prices go up, the ordinary farmer would want to go in for the very less and cheaper products, which are formulated from somebody's warehouse or storeroom without any approval from the EPA or PPRSD. And it's going to have an implication on our human health and environmental safety as well.
Yeah.
So I think everybody should have a concern in this issue. And then we push for the Ministry of Finance to grant these tax exemptions for agri-inputs.
Yes. What has been the reason? What's the reason that has been given for the imposition of the 5% import levy?
Yes, so it's already been there, but as I mentioned, usually the Ministry of Agric has to put in writing to the Ministry of Finance to give those tax exemptions. And once they are given, then they can go ahead to clear their goods without those taxes. But as it is now, those exemptions haven't been granted. So they are applicable to the goods that are currently stocked at the ports. So, and I mean, it amazes me to know that even agri inputs should have been categorically stated in the Tax Exemptions Act 2022, Act 1083, so that we don't have to come back every year to give inputs, to give the finance minister that prerogative. Whether
or not to issue the tax exemption.
We shouldn't have even gotten to that side because considering the how sensitive agric is, inputs should have been categorically stated in the Exemptions Act so that we don't have to come back every year to push for the finance ministry to grant these special exemptions to agri inputs.
Well, but I'm told you also enjoy, some other incentives. Is that not so?
Oh, yeah, yes. As I mentioned, it's a tall list of taxes. It's a tall list of taxes.
Yes.
But basically, the duties and then some other few haven't been taken off, which are mostly the chunk of the taxes. And that is what we are seeking for the government to grant those exemptions in those. Because, I mean, last year, even with the increasing in prices due to the currency fluctuations and increases in fuel prices, I know on first hand farmers who had to reduce their farm sizes because they couldn't afford inputs. And with this issue cropping up now, a lot of them will have to lay down their tools and then will have to possibly drink water and sleep.
Can you give us a fair idea or a sense of the numbers you have in terms of membership?
Yes, so currently CropLife as a membership organization, we have 23 member companies.
23 member
companies who are into the manufacture, importation and distribution of pesticides and fertilizers and other agricultural inputs in Ghana.
Okay, and we saw the news items in the media last week, about 2 weeks ago, and they indicated that hundreds of containers are stuck in the ports. Can you confirm that?
Yes. A lot of them have their containers stacked, and a lot still...
You have the exact numbers?
Not the exact numbers, because not just with our members, with other companies that are not even our members still also have their containers stacked there. You can at least even have one member company having close to 100, 120 containers stacked in the port. These are huge numbers we are looking at. And the thing is, there are other shipments that are also on the seas, on the high seas, that are coming to add up to the numbers. So I think 3 months has been long overdue. And the finance minister should swiftly, we are appealing that he should swiftly grant those tax exemptions for these companies.
Averagely, you mentioned 23 companies. Averagely, how many containers does one company import?
Averagely 80, 90.
80, 90 containers?
Yes, that's huge.
Wow.
Averagely.
Okay, so this one says, can Rashad educate us on some of the taxes charged on agro-input suppliers? My name is Papa. And this one says, how did they come by the number of containers stuck at the port? This is Obi from Tamale.
Okay, so I'll just...
So these are viewers who are watching us and then sending us questions for you.
So I'll just give you a tall list of the taxes that are...
Because that's the first one.
Sure.
Can Rashad educate us on some of the taxes charged on agro-input suppliers?
We are looking at customs duty, VAT, get fund charges, net VAT, COVID-19 levy, special import levy, and other levies under the Exemptions Act.
You pay all these?
Yes. So our companies pay all these taxes.
Okay. So once you pay all these and the tax exemptions come, it means that you are going to get your refunds. Is that right?
Yes, so that is what we are also looking at, because sometimes with the way government machinery is, once the monies get into government coffers, it's difficult to bring these monies back to our companies in terms of refund. So we are still engaging, as I said, with the Ministry of Finance and then the Ministry of Agric to find a solution to this, so that all those members that have gone ahead to clear their goods after the 10th of January would be subject to refund. So that cost will be taken off the price of the inputs.
Right.
But then in between, there's an item of currency differentials as well that has to be factored.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. This one says, how did they come by the number of containers stuck at the port? That's from Obi, who is watching us from Tamale.
Yes. So as I mentioned, our member companies, we know on averagely how many containers they bring in a year for distribution. Yeah.
Okay, but in this particular instance, your members have not written to you or have not come to you with the numbers that they have in the port, awaiting the Finance Ministry's release of the tax exemption, issuance of the tax exemption.
Yes. So not all of them have their goods ready at the ports. The few that we have, we have their numbers. And as I mentioned, the average is about 80, 90. And we have close to, as it stands now, close to 13, 14 companies whose goods are currently at the ports as we speak. And others are still on their way.
So I'm just playing the devil's advocate.
Yeah.
If this tax exemption doesn't come, what does that mean for food production in our country?
If it doesn't come, the
soon,
government's own planting for food and jobs, the jobs aspect is already taken off because the youth that you are asking to go into agriculture are really going to shy away from productivity. Cost of production is going to reduce. Farm sizes are going to reduce. Generally, there's going to be food insecurity in the country.
Have you engaged the new minister or the minister designate?
Not yet, but I have made attempts to engage him. But because he hasn't been approved yet, he doesn't want to make any commitment. So he's asked that we should hold on once he's approved. Then we can go ahead to meet with him.
Who's the minister?
Brian Achampong.
Yes, the Honorable Brian Achampong. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And as I mentioned, so we are also working through the Parliamentary Select Committee on Food and Agriculture for now. And I've had several engagements with the chairperson of the Select Committee on Food and Agriculture. And I'm sure once the Brian Achampong is being given the nod, he will be the focal person to drive on this demand. Yeah.
Okay, so there are those who believe that you enjoy these exemptions and that still does not reflect on the price of inputs on the market. This one is sent in by Susie in Tema. She says, if they take these exemptions, I wonder if the suppliers make it reflect on the market.
Oh, definitely. As I mentioned, last year, as I did indicate, we started off the year with a bottle of glyphosate, for instance, going close to 20 Ghana cedis. But for the depreciation of the Ghana cedis and then fuel charges, that also hampered the cost, and then it rose up to 60 Ghana cedis. So there were other external factors that made input prices go up, not just these exemptions. Yeah.
Okay. All right, so can Rashad give us a fair idea of the kind of goods stuck at the port, the ones he's talking about? Is it the crops or what exactly?
Yeah, so we are looking at pesticides, fertilizers from where I sit. And then we've had complaints from the fisheries associations as well, who have their fisheries equipment, and then the livestock Peasant Farmers Association, who are also complaining about livestock equipment being stacked at the port. But from where I sit, we are more particular about the pesticides and fertilizers that are stacked at the port.
Pesticides and fertilizers.
Yes.
Okay, so it means if these fertilizers do not come out, those that are in the farms, it means the crops may die.
Exactly.
Or they will not survive.
And you know the nature of agriculture in Ghana, it is timely and seasonal.
Yes.
Once you miss the rains, then it's going to affect productivity at the long run. So we are time pressed.
Yes.
And to borrow the words of Nana Akufo-Addo, we are also in a hurry. So the Ministry of Finance should do well to act on the letter that was dated the 10th January and grant those tax exemptions for these agri-inputs to be cleared.
All right, so we are in the studios with Mr. Kadri Rashad, who is the programs manager for Crop Life, and they have their members whose goods or inputs have been stuck in the port because of the introduction of this 5% import levy, and they've received a letter from the Ministry of Agri. The Agri Minister has written to the Ministry of Finance urging the ministry to give them the tax exemptions that they need to clear the goods at the port, and this has not been done yet, and so it puts them in a very precarious situation, and their members are actually not happy about it. And that's what we're discussing tonight and on our report here on Metro TV. We're going for a quick break. When we bounce back, we'll take a few more words from Rashad, and then we shall be wrapping up for tonight. Please do stay with us.
Every now and again, Goil makes good things happen. This time, Goil has introduced Super XP Ron 95, a higher grade fuel loaded with additives and yet sold at the same price as normal fuel. Goil Super XP Ron 95 enhances engine performance like never before. It maintains the engine by keeping it clean from carbon deposits. Goil Super XP Ron 95 is designed to burn slowly and thus improves fuel economy, making you save money after several kilometers. Goil Super XP Ron 95 gives you a smooth driving experience, that is, less vibrations. Fill up with Goil Super XP Ron 95. Now there's no need to pay more for any higher grade fuel. Goil has that sorted. Goil, good energy.
Electricity, then pay your taxes. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Impressive factory. If only I had listened to you, I wouldn't have been in this mess. That devastating fire virtually wiped out the whole factory and my warehouse.
Remember my misfortunes last year? Serene Insurance Asset All Risk Fire policy that I took were there to pay for my damaged stocks in the warehouse. And my machines that were affected by the floods have been replaced. My accident vehicle is back on the road thanks to Serene Insurance motor policy. My goods are on the high seas, covered with their marine cargo insurance policy. I was just telling Ajima about Serene Insurance. Oh, Ajima, tell him more.
As a road contractor, I make sure I do my contractors all risk insurance for the project and then workers' compensation for all the workers on site. With Serene Insurance, they will make sure they will cover your unknown tomorrow today.
Serene Insurance, a new face of insurance. Call us now.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
All right, so you're welcome back. We still have Kadri Rashad in the studios, who is the programs manager for CropLife Ghana. Rashad, do we treat agric as business in Ghana?
I think agric,
from where you sit,
agric hasn't been given the necessary attention that it really deserves. Because elsewhere, when you talk about a farmer, even a peasant farmer, he can boast of 3 square meals and some basic assets or some basics that can be used to possibly determine his standard of living. But here, agric and the path which we are following, agric is now going to be only for the rich. If we don't give priority to some of these things like the tax exemptions that we are talking about and make inputs very accessible and affordable to farmers, then the less privileged will be kicked out of agriculture.
You continue from there. Let's go into the phone lines and welcome Shahab, who's calling all the way from Wa in the Upper West region. Good evening, sir. Hello. Hello, Shahab. Good evening. I think we're having challenges this evening. His line is also dead. And when they get him, I'm sure he would call back. Yes.
Yeah, so I think it's about time that we put a lot of priority and emphasis on agriculture, For instance, our base rates for I think.
Ah, okay. Sorry. Yeah. Shahab. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Katuma.
Hello. Good evening.
Good evening, Shahab.
Hello. Good evening.
I can hear you. We can hear you, Shahab. Please go ahead.
Hello. Good evening.
Good evening, Shahab. Good evening.
I'm fine.
How are you?
I'm fine.
Oh, good. Yes, please. Atuma Besunja. Please go ahead.
The way cost of production is growing, we the farmers, we are really suffering. I used to cultivate 20 acres of maize, 10 acres of soya. Last year, I couldn't do half of it because of the cost of production, fertilizer, seedlings, and other things. Tractor service, we don't know what is happening. And we don't know, if the farmer cannot produce enough to feed himself, what do he give to those in the market and the teachers and other people? Don't know what is happening. The government should look at the agriculture sector and do something about it. We are really suffering. As Zamia will say, I'm not a politician. That people are suffering. Farmers are dying.
Right. Thank you very much, Rashad. We're grateful to you. Shahab, who's calling. Rashad is the one who's Shahab, who's calling us all the way from the Upper West Regional Capital. Wow, we're grateful to you. He says farmers are suffering. That's just the point you were making before his call came in. Yes.
Exactly. And even as it stands now, we are talking about the youth going into agriculture.
Yes.
The banks, we all know, are shying away from agriculture because they deem it to be a very risky venture or enterprise. As it stands now, the current base rate for interest on loan is about 54, I think, and that is very high. How many people can be able to take capital from the banks and be able to pay back? Looking at the current nature or the cost of inputs as the situation is now. So it's about time if the government really prides itself on agriculture and wants to succeed. And price itself on its planting for food and job policy, it should swiftly, through the Ministry of Finance, grant those tax exemptions and make agri-inputs affordable and accessible so that we can all enjoy the food security that we are talking about.
Now, can you tell me what exactly your expectation as, CropLife Ghana is with respect to government's conduct of agric in the country? What do you expect to see that we can look back and say we have a thriving agric industry in the country?
Yes, so the first and foremost is to create an enabling environment.
Yes, enabling environment. Let's pick Alex from Kumasi and then we return. Good evening, sir, Alex.
Good evening.
Yes, sir.
Agriculture now, what can we say no?
Say again.
Agric now, what can we say no?
Yes.
This time, a friend is saying cocoa set a hono. And you might of course what cocoa na wood this time.
Okay.
Cocoa na wood this time. You say go now, but the good snow say the hill ni na ewu. Ye call me call hot and ra coffee me cocoa. Wasano ha. Cocoa ho na wood this time. Nti the government won hwe ma yen say say e nuro na omodugus na enye na emmo akoko na o ma yenhu na agriculture nso no kokko sector nso yesu yenhu sawa this year betimi aye nema nema ekobo ne pa.
Okay. Alex CP, thank you very much indeed. He's talking about the cocoa sector. Yes.
So I'll just add something to what Alex is saying. Basically, one of the challenges that we've realized that is facing our local farmers is the irresponsible use of these pesticides and fertilizers. CropLife and our member companies has taken it as a priority to do a lot of stewardship, to train, educate, and sensitize farmers on the safe and responsible use of these pesticides and fertilizers.
Right.
When used correctly, you can have the maximum benefit.
Right.
So sometimes it's about the irresponsible use of these pesticides and fertilizers.
Yes.
Farmers sometimes do not know how to use the recommended doses and are not able to even read what the indications are on the pesticide labels.
Right.
Some of them apply because a friend has asked them to apply same because it's worked well for years on a different crop, and they just go straight forward to apply. So I would recommend that they should get in touch with either CropLife or even the nearest extension agents.
Absolutely.
Yes. In their districts, so that they are trained. These people are well trained as well to train to advise them on how to use these pesticides and fertilizers, the effective and then the safe and responsible way.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. So you were on your expectations of government as to how we can have a thriving agri sector in Ghana.
So as I did mention, the first is to create an enabling environment. Enabling environment in which sense? That is to access to capital, credit. Our own ADB, that is an agricultural development bank. It will surprise you to know the number of loans is given out to the agriculture sector. Yes. So we should restructure some of these institutions for them to be able to work towards what their mandates were really meant for.
Right.
So that they can help the young and teeming youth, finance them, for them to be able to buy these inputs and then go into agriculture. So enabling environment is
key.
Is key.
All right, so we are taking your last words as you wait for this particular directive from the Greek minister to the finance ministry to materialize, and your member is still wallowing in, this particular thing of not knowing when they're going to get their goods or containers cleared from the ports and all that. What message would you give to government, apart from calling on the Ministry of Finance to, as it were, expedite action? I think I understand we have a last caller on the line, do we? Okay, I understand the line is dropped. Yes.
Okay, so my last words would be that, as you mentioned, apart from the Ministry of Finance to grant the tax exemptions, we are also going to push through Parliament so that agri inputs will now be added categorically in the Tax Exemptions Act 2022, Act 103, so that next year and then the years to come, we will not come back to this same place to discuss tax exemptions again, and it will be a thing of the past, so that inputs will be affordable and accessible to everybody, and then we can achieve our food security that we all crave for.
Right. Thank you very much. Mr. Kadiri Rashad is the programs manager for CropLife Ghana. He says they have 23 member companies, and each company is able to sometimes import up to 83 containers. And we have lots of containers stuck in the port because they're not able to clear as a result of the failure, so to speak, of the finance ministry to release their tax exemptions for them to be able to do that. And they are pleading with government through the finance ministry to be able to, for them to get this tax exemption issued so that they'll be able to clear their containers and then get the inputs onto the market for agric to go on smoothly in our country. We are grateful to you, Rashad, for obliging us. Remember, our first leg of the discussion was with Mr. Emmanuel Ohiniado, who is the programs manager for Meridian, operations manager for Meridian Port Services, MPS Terminal 3 in the Port of Tema. We took a look at the operationalization of Harbour craft jetty in that particular terminal and how it's helping turn around things in terms of operations in Terminal 3, MPS, Port of Tema. Thank you very much, Rashad, for coming.
Thank you very much.
And we're grateful to you, and we hope that when issues come up, we'll always, discuss and then throw them into the limelight for the necessary actions.
Most definitely. Thank you for having me as well.
Yes. Viewers, would like to say thank you to our sponsors as Ghana Revenue Authority, Goil PLC, Meridian Port Services, that's MPS, Serene Insurance, and indeed Ghana Link Network Services, operators of ICOMs in the port. Remember, the show is powered by the Ghana Port and Harbors Authority. And don't forget to watch the abridged version on Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. on Ghana Television GTV. My name is Kennedy Mona. God willing, next week we shall bounce back with another wonderful edition of Eye on Port. Have a super week ahead and keep watching the rest of our programs. Good evening.